17th of October 1989. It was not just another day. Reporters thronged the office of the Election Commission, expecting a formal announcement.
The dates of poll will be the 22nd November and the 24th November, and if necessary, on a subsequent date.
As flashlights dim, Doordarshan will be adding another dimension to election telecasts.
मैं उपमा भटनागर दूरदर्शन समाचार के लिए फतेहपुर से रिपोर्ट कर रही हूँ। गंगा यमुना दोआब में बसे इस मुख्यतः देहात के इलाके के मतदाताओं के हाथ में है 17 उम्मीदवारों की तकदीर का फैसला।
The exercise begins. Parties, big and small, gear up to cajole the public. A public, well, aware of its ability to write destinies powerfully in electoral ink. TV worldwide, and Doordarshan is no exception, can have no greater occasion. An occasion in which 500 million of our people participate. Doordarshan began to collect men and materials to grab this drama for its small screen. By the horns, should we say?
This was a tremendous experience for the engineering wing of Doordarshan, much better than anything we had done in the past. It was the novelty of this exercise that urged every engineer, every technician in the network to put his best foot forward. I think the most remarkable thing about this exercise was that the engineers combined extremely well with the producers and the presenters. It took weeks of advanced planning to achieve what we did in the end. At the center of this exercise was the provision of a fleet of 11 OB vans scattered throughout the country, in addition to which we deployed something like 100 additional cameras for deferred feeds. Our recording facilities had to handle something like 200 hours of live feeds. We also provided some high-resolution animated graphic systems. We provided a digital library system and an array of monitors for preview of various program sources. We also had to establish an extremely complex communication system involving 20 STD lines with auto search facilities, 72 hotlines which were terminated in an exchange hastily set up in the studio complex, which had to be derived very largely from the terrestrial network of the Department of Telecommunications, the satellite system not being in the best of shape. This was for us a tremendous experience.
And I would be sitting somewhere here and do this side, and whosoever comes as expert would be here. Here will be a TV monitor, big one.
What are the outputs to be given to the Purnawar Rai and Vinod Dua?
Running on a computer, graphics, program output and OB feed. So by what time do you think the Congress I will be able to form a government in West Bengal?
I can challenge Jyoti Basu to contest with me in any seat if there is a free and fair election. I believe that people will vote for me, not for Jyoti Basu. But he has no guts to fight with me in free and fair election.
Okay, one last.
In what was later termed a practical, hands-on, no-frills approach, Doordarshan fanned out its bands. Its effort to bridge distances and to capture the pageant of a general election. Communication between its 3,000-odd operational staff had to be strengthened. It was a moment of triumph for Pranoy too. His selection of constituencies for Doordarshan's coverages made news of information received.
But I think the major difference this time was, with the help of Doordarshan's engineers, we managed to get a number of interesting VIP constituencies all over the country which were on the microwave link. And that really took us out of the studio and brought the real election action and the feel of the counting and the whole process to the whole program.
If DD is surging towards D-Day, can the DOT, that is the Department of Telecommunication, and the telephones lag behind? A mind-boggling network of hotlines and telephones providing the latest information on the results. Agency tickers ticking away to glory. Artists burning the midnight oil to present the information attractively. All this certainly the product of a modern mind. Kaleidoscopic fragments still linger.
उसके मुताबिक कांग्रेस आई 153 स्थानों पर आगे है और 159 स्थानों का नुकसान है उसे। नेशनल फ्रंट 90 स्थानों पर आगे है, एक स्थान बढ़ गया है पिछले 4 मिनट में।
I have a flash, Vinod. The Union Cabinet met today. Shri Rajiv Gandhi presided over the meeting. It was decided at the meeting to advise the President that the present Lok Sabha be dissolved immediately.
आशा की जा रही है कि अधिकतर उम्मीदवारों के भाग्य का फैसला और 9वीं लोकसभा की तस्वीर मंगलवार तक स्पष्ट रूप से सामने आ जाएगी।
Information from telephones, teleprinters and hotlines buzzed in the news desk. Crisscrossed charts updated results for the presenters in the studio. The graphic station was full of colorful information. The outdoor coverages punctuated lively studio discussions, while recordings filled obvious gaps. All these inputs flowed into the production control room, the nerve center of the show.
We have got information from most parts of UP, as you can see from this map. There are blotches of red, which is the Congress eye, but the bulk of it seems to be going to the Janata Dal.
उत्तर प्रदेश से जो हमें जानकारी मिली है इस वक्त 85 जो निर्वाचन क्षेत्र हैं उसमें से 48 निर्वाचन क्षेत्रों की जानकारी हमारे पास है।
The master switching room in Delhi, a place where hearts beat faster.
And there is no doubt that the understanding that in regard to seat adjustment that there was in Gujarat between the BJP and the Janata Dal.
Inputs from across the length and breadth of the country are to be tested, tried and retested for technical quality.
Redeployment of forces.
Big mistake not to implement it, and that is why the first resolution that our party passed was, and which National Front also subsequently passed, was that the stranglehold of the government will be removed straight away.
Well, thank you, Mr. Gujral. Pranay, this is all I have for the moment from Jalandhar. I'll be getting back to you later on. This is Jagmohan Bhasin reporting from Jalandhar. Back to Pranay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jagmohan.
Well, in that montage is what everybody is fighting for. Good evening and welcome. India's 9th general election is all but over. The people have spoken. Over 300 million voters in the largest democracy in the world. 500,000 ballot boxes, those old war horses of democracy, a bit like Vinod here. And they have inside them the answers to the basic question, who's going to win this election? And as they are being opened over the next few days, well, most of them will be opened in the next 24 hours, in fact. Vinod and I hope to bring you the latest news and analysis as quickly as we can get it. And this time, to get it faster, we hope to go outside the studio a bit more, go down to Hyderabad, go down to Bombay, talk directly to reporters from there, for which Doordarshan has made a huge effort to try and get as many feeds as possible.
I shall first give the figures of the first 4 leading candidates. Shri Murli Deora, 27,452. Shri Sharma Prem Kumar, 22,653.
Mr. Deora, to what do you attribute the fact that you've done pretty well so far at the end of this round, the first round?
In the first round, I am leading by about 5,000 votes, little over 5,000 votes. That does not necessarily mean that it's a sure victory, because it's a very small margin.
Basically, what's happening at the moment, it seems very clear that it is a major vote for change. And it's a vote for change not only at the center, it's a vote for a change everywhere.
Yeah, I think so, because as you said just now, one thing which is very clear from the trends which are coming in is that this is a vote for change. And I think the people deserve to be congratulated for the maturity and the wisdom that they have shown in the manner in which they have voted.
I can see that we have a feed ready from the Congress headquarters in Delhi. Let's see what the mood is like over there. Let's go across to Indranil Banerjee, who's reporting direct from the Congress headquarters. Indranil.
But could you tell me why your estimates are much more optimistic than that of the press and, the opinion pollsters, who have all predicted a Congress defeat?
Well, it is neither the press nor the people who conduct the surveys who vote.
And do you think the opposition parties are now going to form government at the center?
I hope so.
And in case Janata Dal gets majority and it forms government on its own, will your party be supporting it, Mr. Advani?
My party would see to it that the Congress doesn't return to office.
We have a question from Delhi, I think.
Maya, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to, could you ask Mr. Hegde whether his heart really is in the Lok Sabha and the electorate felt that that's where it really is, and will he be returning to the Lok Sabha to stand for an MP?
Well, it is very difficult to say now because it has already happened and I can't undo it now.
There is a good news from Rajasthan, Gujarat and Odisha. In Odisha we are leading in 23 out of 21.
Why do you think you've done badly in the south?
Well, there are many reasons. If you look to Tamil Nadu, even in the last election, the combined vote of AIDMK and Congress was more than the DMK vote. In Andhra Pradesh, probably the people expected more of the government and they probably feel that an alternative chance would be given to someone.
Mary, why do you think the Congress is doing so well?
Because the people want the Congress to come back to power.
No, but is it because of Dr. Channa Reddy or because it is against NTR that the wave is on?
Both ways, you're right. The thing, basically, it is because NTR has failed in Andhra.
I called you to express my thanks to you and all the people of my state and the country as well for giving me an occasion and opportunity to serve them, which I have done with all my dedication.
We are not in position to get majority. All right, we'll sit in opposition. What's wrong with that?
In India also, we have reached a stage when BJP doesn't agree with the communists do not support Janata Dal if BJP is there. Without one of them being there, Janata Dal cannot do it. But all the three of them must come together if they want to do something. Otherwise, Congress will be the single biggest party.
I don't agree with the views of the former President Sanjeev Reddy. The Congress party had 415 seats in the old Lok Sabha.
if it is reduced to a minority of say 40 seats, then it has no right to form a government.
People at this stage would not like anybody coming in the way of the formation of a non-Congress government.
Both the leaders are saying that the will of the people is against the Congress. Do they identify the people with only North India?
No, I'm talking of the will of the majority of the people. In a democracy, you ultimately decide what the will of the majority of the people is.
I would say that mathematics inflicted the first blow on the Congress, this alliance. And history did not come to the help of the Congress because the 1977 history was forgotten by the people because of the way the BJP conducted itself. It did not react wildly, even when VP Singh refused to join their campaign and snubbed some of the BJP candidates. So the history of 1977 was forgotten. So history did not help the Congress. It is only geography which has come to the rescue to some extent.
Well, it's 12:15 or just past, and that's the network of computers and analysis desks and telephone lines that have been working right throughout this program and will be working right through the night. Basically, it's been a swing away from the Congress of about 8 to 9%. It takes some time before the final figures come in.
Mr. Gundurao, how do you explain the Congress side's performance in the state?
Definitely the Congress side in the past also it performed very well and it will be performed in future also. That's why the Congress victory is here and the people did appreciate the Congress ruling. So they wanted back the Congress to come to power.
The views you're expressing on the Congress now are rather different from the views you expressed when you were out of the Congress party. How do you explain that?
It is irrelevant now because now I am a Congress candidate and contesting from the Congress ticket from the Bangalore South. That question doesn't apply anymore in this context.
कि ये कुछ करने के बाद इनका आखिरी हथियार ये था कि 5 दिन पहले मेरे मिनिस्टर को खरीदा गया.
Essential issue before the president is which government is likely to be stable in the days to come.
Pretty stiff warning to anybody, any government that comes into power, that they have to fulfill their promises or they're going to be out with this electorate.
From now on, it seems that way, that people have realized the meaning of their voting power. What does that mean? So they will be more watchful, and I'm sure the political parties will take care that they don't make false promises or try to win on the basis of media. That's right. You being one of the major ones. That
we all knew right in the beginning of the year that the general elections will be held around about December. So accordingly, we made our plans. As a matter of fact, about 6 months in advance, we had worked out a plan which was rather ambitious. But then we thought that Doordarshan had now come of age. We had done an excellent coverage in 84 elections, and naturally, as professionals, we wanted to improve upon our performance. The logistics were almost staggering. It was something where a feat in coordination was required between hardware, software, administration, and all other possible areas of broadcasting. And I must say that a very challenging task, done in a very objective, fair manner, was well appreciated by our viewers. Hats off to our engineers, to our program people, to producers, and all those who were working behind the camera, behind the scenes, silently, but as usual, very dedicatedly. This coverage has brought accolades from all over the world, from professionals and viewers. That makes our task doubly difficult. The task well done has added more difficult tasks ahead. Every time we do such coverages, we'll have to do much better. And I have great hope and great faith in our staff, I'm sure, who will do a wondrous job again and every time, whenever there are challenges in front of Doordarshan.
in an extremely competitive media race, Election 89 on air was one more hurdle successfully cleared by Doordarshan. As this viewer said in Madras,
சாதாரணமாக நாங்கள் நினச்சது என்னென்னு கேட்டாக்கா தூர்தர்ஷன் வந்து கவர்மெண்ட்டை சேர்ந்தது, உடனே அரசுக்கு சாதகமாக தான் எல்லா நிகழ்ச்சியும் தொகுத்து அளிப்பாங்க அப்படின்னு நினச்சதுக்கு அதுக்கு மாறாக எல்லா கட்சிகளுக்கும் இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுத்ததோடு இல்லாமல் அன்பயஸ்டாக ரொம்ப இம்பார்ஷியலாக எல்லா நிகழ்ச்சியும் தொகுத்து அளித்ததுனால தான் எங்களுக்கு அதில் ஒரு நம்பிக்கையே ஏற்பட்டது.
But what is your verdict?